Okay, now we'll move to a question on energy. With high energy cost and environmental concerns that have generated greater concern about a building or an area's carbon footprint, at the local level, what measures would you champion to better manage energy consumption and protect the environment, and how would you pay for these changes? And I guess we start with Carolyn.
Sure. You know, climate change, I think, environmentally as well as utility costs are a concern across this district. I think there are a lot of grants available right now for renewable energy projects locally in municipalities. I also know that our towns have started focusing on this area, developing sustainable development committees. Both Holliston and Hopkinton have done this. I think one of the ways that a legislator could make progress in this area is to work directly with those committees who are coming up with good ideas every day, frankly, for the use of solar in our schools, for working with third-party entities to pay for some of these projects now that will allow us to take advantage of the energy savings while allowing the corporations to take advantage of the tax credits that are available through the state. So those are the types of things that I'll work to make sure that our communities understand what grants are available, and then to help actually implement them and realize the savings as well as the environmental benefits.
Dan?
I caught a little piece of my answer in that response. Tax credits to encourage energy efficient technology, both to homeowners and to corporations, to our business community. We need to provide incentives to let the market work. The market is already tackling this issue because it is important to people, and there's profit in it, quite frankly. And just as we are a magnet in the state for biotech companies because of our educational foundation and our human capital here, we are in the same way a magnet for green companies. We need to provide incentives, though, greater incentives for them to come here. My opponent said in an earlier debate that in addition to incentives, she would mandate green technology in new construction, both for municipal projects and for residential projects. That is problematic for me because, as we all know, as homeowners, many of us have looked at green technology, and right now, unfortunately, a lot of the most effective green technology is also extremely costly. And that's the sort of thing that new technologies are always costly at the beginning, and then they tend to come down as time passes. And so I would say incentives to use that technology, let the market work, but not mandates that make people's construction costs go up, because that stifles growth.
Point of clarification, I've never mentioned mandating green technology in anything other than perhaps referencing that municipal buildings would encourage municipal buildings to incorporate green technologies. Since they are using public funds, I think the government can lead the way in showing how this can be done and the benefits that it will result.
Okay. Jim?
Yes. Who gets the first question? Or
Carolyn.
Carolyn. Okay, Carolyn. We've heard this one before. We're going to talk about it again. The governor last year submitted a plan for 3 destination casinos. It was defeated by the legislature. If it were resubmitted, and it's beginning to look more and more like it will be, would you support it?
I found it interesting then that way back when, before the current economic situation, I had highlighted the fact that the numbers that were put out there for casino revenues were just estimates, and that I did not think that it was a solution, either in the long term or short term, for dealing with the systemic challenges that we have in maintaining our budgets. I think that even recently we've just seen that estimates for the casino projects, in fact, the treasurer just said that it looks like now that the estimates that were originally made were in fact not accurate based on the current economic situation. So I think that has borne itself out. I don't think casinos are a long-term win for our state. I don't think that's where our economic opportunity lies. I think we should, we're better off focusing on long-term opportunities like R&D for renewable energy, like biotech, and I don't think casinos are a win for our communities either.
Thank you. Dan, casinos.
This is a point of total agreement between the two of us. No, I've said all along I don't support casinos, and frankly, I don't think that even in the best economic times they ought to be used to balance the state budget. They haven't worked elsewhere. There's no reason to believe they would work here. And frankly, again, as Carolyn said, what we're seeing now is bearing out the words of caution that were thrown up in the way of an initiative that was almost rammed through. The casinos down in Connecticut are seeing falling profits as the economy sours. We certainly can't count on casinos in a faltering economy to gamble our way out of our state debt. That's on a family level. That's the problem with casinos. The temptation to try and gamble your way out of a problem. We shouldn't be doing it at the state level, and it's bad for the communities where they're sited.
Leave that to Wall Street.
All right, we're going to go to a question that was referenced actually earlier, a little earlier by you, Caroline, but it having to do with the fact that, again, property tax is a major issue or a concern for voters. Employee health insurance is one of the fastest drivers for town budgets, even city budgets. I can attest to that. And in order to address that, or both issues, basically under the Municipal Partnership Act that Governor Patrick had presented, there was a proposal that was passed that would allow cities and towns to join the Group Insurance Commission. Now, unfortunately, the hurdles to join made it very difficult. And so in two different opportunities to join, both in 2007 and 2008, we have a total of 10 communities that, as of today, have joined the Group Insurance Commission out of 351. So hardly widespread property tax reform. So if you were to be elected, would you be willing to look at the entry requirements and make those a little easier for cities and towns to join the Group Insurance Commission, or do you have some other alternatives that you would propose to try to reduce the cost of local health insurance? So I think, Caroline, we start with you on that. Sure.
Like I said, I had mentioned this earlier. I think with the cost of health care that we do need to look seriously at the GIC. One of the things that I'd like to see more of in government, frankly, is less political decision-making and more fact-based decision-making. So one of the things I would like to find out is why these cities and towns are not joining the GIC. I think there have been a lot of, there's a lot of discussion about the role of unions in this and whether unions are a stumbling block in getting towns into the GIC. Frankly, I'd like to do a little more fact-finding on that and find out exactly, go to some of these communities maybe that have tried to join this GIC, which I've heard about, that have chosen not to, and find out exactly why they're not joining and, address the real challenges as opposed to making assumptions. But again, whatever we do, we need to find out what the stumbling blocks are there, move to eliminate them so that we can move forward and control healthcare costs.